now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Deanie. I do have to say that this particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes. And for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know. Before I introduce my guest, I do want to say this is the frequency of the fearless. There are moments in life when everything we thought was solid suddenly crumbles, when trust shatters and our very sense of self feels unrecognizable. But from the ashes of betrayal, a stronger, wiser, and more courageous version of ourselves can rise. Healing isn't about going back to who we were. It's about becoming who we were meant to be. Today's guest embodies that journey, showing us that even heartbreak can become holy ground. You're not just here for a talk show, and this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Deanie, and change is possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go. All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That is Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Deanie. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. You know, the ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she's an author, survivor, songwriter, and a voice for the betrayed. Evelyn Reed's journey isn't just about one of the heartbreaks. It's a testament to the power of faith, resilience, and creative expression. With her best-selling memoir, Shattered Vows, and a library full of soul-bearing music, Evelyn is helping others heal their own wounds while reclaiming their voices. Her raw honesty and tender strength are reshaping how we understand betrayal trauma. So please join me in saying, welcome, friend, to Evelyn Reed. Good morning, good morning.
Hello. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. We are excited to speak with you this morning. So before we just really dive into everything, Evelyn, what's been on your heart and mind lately?
How can I help other women who are betrayed not hide from their shame that it wasn't their fault that this happened? And how can I get that message out to women that you don't have to hide, even though I am still hiding and I have not told our children about what has occurred?
Yeah. Wow. So that is a heavy mission. I believe there are a lot of I don't want to say broken people, but when you go through betrayal, you can feel a sense of brokenness. I know firsthand. I've been betrayed before, and even as a husband. So the brokenness is one of those
it's
things
hurtful.
that you feel. Yeah, when you're going through that. Evelyn, your story is so raw and brave. What was the first moment you realized your heartbreak could become a message for others?
Well, I had two moments, so we call them D-Day or Discovery Day. And the first one was in 2016 when he told me that he had been to a massage parlor and only had a certain act performed, no intercourse. And so I trusted him that that's what it was, not knowing anything else. But the second D-Day was 8 years later, and he just decided to tell me everything, but not everything. And I don't want to just live the rest of my life being a victim. And I'm like, I have to get this out. And so I started writing everything that I was going through as it was happening. So I wrote the book as it was happening. It decided to be a book probably a year after the second D-Day.
Yeah.
Because I had to search everywhere for how do I do this? How do I do that? And therapists saying, well, do this next, instead of giving you an entire path of here's what the end could potentially look like. I wanted to make sure it was all in one place for whoever is going through the betrayal the next time.
Indeed. So as this was happening to you, you began to write about it, which became a book. Did it help in the healing process?
Oh, yeah, definitely writing it out and getting your feelings out, journaling every day. Because if you want to repair your marriage, you don't want to yell and scream at the person that you want to repair with, because that doesn't lend to a good situation. So if you journal it, I went in the car and yell and scream. Lost some friends over this because they thought I should have left them. Gained some new friends. And then later, after the book was written, I started writing the songs because I lived my life through music, and I couldn't find any songs that were talking about what I was going through.
Yeah. You describe betrayal trauma as a full body crisis. Can you take us back to when you first discovered your husband's double life? Like, how did your mind, your heart, and even your body react?
Physically, when he told me, we were actually on a cruise ship doing a transatlantic cruise, so I was stuck with him on a ship for 14 days, and he decided to tell me the first day of the cruise, so I couldn't go anywhere. And he told me, and I literally just physically fell backwards like in a chair. And the sadness, the anger, I was nauseous, I was shaking, my hands were trembling, my legs were trembling. I couldn't sleep like the next 14 days. There was so much panic because I really just didn't know how much betrayal was out there at the time, because he was doing what he could give me in what we call trickle truths. He could only give me what he could at the time without either him wanting to commit suicide or me saying I'm going to leave you forever, because he thought if you fully knew me, you wouldn't stay with me.
And why do you call it trauma?
Because it's exactly like PTSD. You have triggers and flashbacks because he's telling you things that they've done with sex workers and porn and all of that, and you get these images in your head, and it's just like going to battle. It's just like, oh, there's that image again, and it may be worse than what he's telling you, but it's what the image is in your head. You can't sleep. I had heart palpitations. You're suddenly depressed. You have anxiety.
Yes. Oh yeah. Those.
I don't know if that's what you went through as well.
Oh yeah. That's when I really learned what PTSD could be. You always hear it comes from police officers develop it, or firefighters, or soldiers. But when it comes to relationships, I wasn't quite a believer until it happened to me.
Because it's the person you trust the most, and that you think that they will never do anything wrong to you because you're not doing anything wrong to them.
Yeah. A sense of reality shatters too.
Yes. So the life I thought I lived the last 20 years was all a lie. And it started a lie the moment he asked me out on a date, because I did not know his sexual history prior to, of all of his acting out, and what occurred to him when he was 11 with the neighbor man. For the next 4 years, he was groomed. And so that's another reason that I had stayed, because of all his childhood trauma. And for 20 years, I based, this is what's going on in our marriage because of my childhood trauma, and it was actually his and some of mine. But when that happens when you're an 11-year-old boy, that starts the grooves in your brain to this is what's normal, this is what's life, not knowing that he was groomed to be a sex addict. And he didn't tell anybody because there was so much shame.
That is a very tough thing to do. You've offered forgiveness by choosing to stay. You did not choose to become a victim, or as I would call it, the easy way out, which is saying, hey, you just given me my golden ticket to leave officially. If you abide by the Bible, there's one rule really that grants a divorce. But
it's also not for me to judge. Only God can judge. And that's what I've been holding. I can't judge him. Only God can judge his actions.
That's right.
And I said for better or for worse. And this is the absolute worst.
That's right. People asked, well, I think Jesus was asked that question, and of course he gave the general law, but he went a little further, about forgiveness. And I think people just forget about the second part. Forgiveness is a journey, and only strong people can forgive when their whole reality and sense of trust and boundaries and protection shatters. It takes a very courageous person to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. I chose to forgive early on because it was about me forgiving him, not him deserving my forgiveness or forgetting what occurred. And I forgave him before he continued to drop everything else he continued to do the last 20 years. And so we had a full disclosure with a certified sex addiction therapist, and that's where you learn everything that he has done from the time he was first sexual. And before that occurs, though, I had a polygraph. He had to take a polygraph, and he failed it. And at that point, I almost left. But the polygraph examiner said, hey, here's a list of things. Go through this. I'll retest you. And what happened, if he failed the second polygraph, I probably would have left. But he went through that whole list and just started freaking out. He's like, oh, I did this, I forgot about that. Oh, I did this, I forgot about that. And so when full disclosure came, then you had the next impact on your body of learning things you had no idea about.
Wow. Okay. There's another... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's done with 2 therapists in the room that are certified. They're called CSAT therapists that are monitoring both of you and making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Emotionally and physically.
So there is a second part to this, music. And you said music helped you process what words couldn't. How did songwriting transform your recovery?
It put into words and the emotions that I either couldn't tell him or couldn't tell my friends, but people are always singing songs about heartbreak or betrayal, and so I wrote the song and then had someone else sing it. So one of the songs is the Unchosen Marathon. I didn't choose this marathon to run, but now I have to run it for the rest of my life. and it's a choice I'm making. But I also have boundaries set up that I didn't have before, that he knows that if this boundary is crossed, this may happen. If this boundary is crossed, this may happen. But the first song I wrote was Shattered, Still Standing. And that the first line is, I just forgot it. I found my truth, something like that, and when I told you what was going on, basically, and I just forgot the words. But it just put into words that I really didn't know how to say without hurting people or hurting him.
Yeah. Wow. Was there a particular song that feels like the heartbeat of this journey?
Yeah, it would be Shattered, Still Standing, and it's I found your truth where trust had been, and his truth was he was a sex addict. And that cuts right straight through me every time. It's the moment that everything crumbles and everything was clarified, and you finally learn the truth. You thought you were living the truth, but you were really living an illusion. And you just feel the ground beneath you just disappear.
Wow, yeah.
And
go ahead.
There was another song that talked about losing the friends because they thought I should have left. And it's like, you didn't know what I went through. You didn't know the good parts of him. Because he led a double life, he compartmentalized everything. So this is my sex addict life, and this is my married life. And when he was in the married life part of his double life, he was there for the death of the parents. He was there for, very hard moments in my life. So you can't discount everything. He had bad behavior. He was not a bad person.
Okay. You talked about staying in your marriage on your own terms. We've dove a little bit into, why you forgave him, because it was for you. But what gave you the courage to stay and rebuild, which I know is a hard thing to do, a hard task to do, rather than walk away?
Because he stayed, because of those 20 years of the good memories. And again, he had horrific, I'm not going to say bad, he had horrific behavior. But I also still loved him. And then I look at there and like, do I want to start over at my age? I'm going to be 61. Do I really want to start over? Not really. I've looked around, I'm like, no. And I don't know what other baggage everyone else has. I already know his complete baggage based on the polygraph. And am I willing to live with that? And at this point I am. And sometimes it's day to day.
I get that.
But I'm not crazy. I'm not broken. And even though, I was gaslit, manipulated, lied to, and he had narcissistic tendencies, that's completely changed based on him going to an intensive outpatient program for 12 weeks. He does a therapist once a week. He does a church group once a week, and then he does a men's group once a week. So he's constantly trying to better himself 4 times a week, plus all the homework that they give him. And he is completely changed. He's the man I thought I married originally.
I love it. I love to hear that.
And why he chose to tell me on the cruise ship is he's sitting there in our cabin, and he said, God told him, he said, this overwhelming sense said, you have to tell her, and you have to tell her now. And he said, I could not avoid that voice. Even though he hadn't acted out for 8 years after he told me, he's like, I got to tell her. And he did. And on the cruise ship, we had therapists that were on Zoom with us, who we found out later had called the ship security. So we were watched to make sure that none of us did anything stupid.
Yeah. Wow. There's a workbook that goes along with the Shattered Vows. The workbook is called Reflections in the Mirror. I love that title. And it guides others through recovery. What's the first exercise or reflection that you recommend to someone just discovering betrayal?
Self-care. Do what you can to soothe yourself, take time for yourself. It's okay to cry, scream, rage in the car. You don't want to rage at the person. They already feel horrific. Not that you don't want them to feel your pain, but eventually they will start feeling your pain. Just get therapy right away, get a certified sex therapist, because there's a lot of couples counseling and marriage counseling that don't know the extent. Even though someone just has one affair, they may have had a sexual addiction that you never knew about. So just take care of yourself, and it's about you. Their ego has been involved with only their wants, demands, and needs, and sexually acting out. It's time for you to take care of yours.
Absolutely. Let's talk nervous systems. How did betrayal impact yours, and what steps help you find calm and peace again?
So my nervous system was a wreck, and I did a thing called Safe and Sound Protocol, where you listen to music 10 minutes at a time, and it releases the trauma from your body somehow, and images come up and it gets released. I'm not sure how, but it's pretty cool. I also did EMDR for the triggers and flashbacks, and that helped quite a bit, so you're not always thinking about what sexual position they did or didn't do. And then I did hyperbaric oxygen treatment, and you lay in a hyperbaric chamber for an hour and just breathe in oxygen, and that oxygen helps blood flow to the brain and helps. You're laying there for an hour, so you either got to scroll through the phone or meditate. I did meditation a lot, breathing exercises, bilateral music. I did everything I could think of to calm myself and regulate myself. And then the other thing that we did is we had our brain scanned, and it's called a SPECT scan, and that immediately told me another reason why I stayed is it literally showed when his brain is offline where the addiction takes over. And so he has to do special brain exercises to keep his brain online as well. But interestingly enough, I was also diagnosed with ADHD during that brain scan. I'm like, who knew?
Wow. Faith is also woven into your story. How did your relationship with God change during this season of pain and restoration?
I used to only reach out to God for 911. And this was a 911, and now it's every day, every hour. I'm constantly talking to God instead of, hey, can you do this for me, do that for me? It's more restorative. Can you help me with the triggers? Can you, and thanking him for all the help that he's done to not only get my husband back online, but to get my nervous system regulated and to look forward, because I can't change the past. I can't change what happened to him as a kid, and I can't change what he did to me either.
Do you think this may have been a part of God's plan to bring you closer to him?
Absolutely. 100%. 1,000%. It's really weird that I feel that, but it consumes my body that this was what God intended for me to do, is to help him heal from his childhood wounds and become a man that he should be. So at one point the therapist said he was operating as a 12-year-old emotionally.
Yeah.
And then he also had abandonment wounds as well, because he was adopted from another country into the U.S., so he had all of those issues.
Yep. Yeah, that discovering the same thing, the same intention that God probably had for my life is he had to get my attention some way. So it didn't kill me. So
and you think it's gonna?
Yeah, you really think it's gonna stop your world at some point, or something has to change, and really it didn't. It really didn't. And I say, well, God, wow, I would have never imagined me walking this journey, just to bring me to this point, but, only you understand. And I know this has to be a testimony for someone in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing is I didn't realize I was wearing a mask for 20 years, and one of the songs I wrote is The Mirror Lied. Here I am smiling to the public, and we're great, but behind there I'm just shattered. And it's amazing how we lie to everybody in the public when we're really hurting so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you could speak to a woman in the thick of betrayal right now, what would you tell her about survival and hope?
You will get through this. It doesn't feel like it's temporary, but there is hope around the corner. Whether you choose to stay or leave, there's hope. God makes sure that He's got your back every time. Indeed,
indeed. Looking forward, what's next for Evelyn Reed? A new book, more music, or something we don't expect?
Well, I've got 40 songs out already in 3 different albums and 1 single, which was Shattered, Still Standing. I'm working on the second book, which is my childhood and all the trauma I went through my childhood. And it's called Through the Fence Holes, where I'm always looking on the other side of what everyone else has, because I don't have it. And all of the abuse that I went through as a child.
Wow. Do you have a date for that book?
I got to get this one launched and successful.
Yeah.
But it'll be soon.
All right. So where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and pick up a copy of your book?
EvelynReedBooks.com, or you can go to Amazon and type in Evelyn Reed and Shattered Vows. And the songs are on iTunes and Spotify under Evelyn Reed. I wrote them. I did not sing them. The songs are from everyone's point of view, from the sex worker, from mine, from my husband, to even kids who are left behind, where the parents go through the process, but the kids don't get help.
All right. And listeners, just in case you need that link, we have those in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click the link. Wow, what a profound journey we've walked with Evelyn Reed today, from betrayal to breakthroughs, from heartbreak to healing. Her story is proof that even in life's deepest pain, there's a pathway to peace. And we unpack the truth about betrayal, trauma, faith, nervous system recovery, and the courage it takes to reclaim yourself. To our listeners, if Evelyn's story spoke to you, share this episode with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Vigilantes Radio Live, leave a rating, and support the movement. Don't forget to visit EvelynReedBook.com to explore her memoir, healing workbook, and music catalog. And remember, you're not just surviving, you are becoming. Thank you so much, Evelyn, and have a wonderful morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace to all. My name is Deanie, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.